Hello and welcome to this presentation of EmilyFeed, the smartphone app by Emily. EmilyFeed is a new decision support tool for feeding. It is a tool where I can select the list of my ingredients, default ingredient existing, to facilitate the entry of the first rations. For example, I can create a new ingredient like straw. In order to do that, I fill in the name of the ingredient, its percentage of dry matter, and its density, which represents the number of tons per cubic meter. The ingredient straw now exists in my list of ingredients. In the list of rations, I can create my own ration. For example, I indicate the ration of my young bulls. I name the ration, then I enter the volume of my distribution tool. For example, 3.4 cubic meters for a feeding bucket. But if I use a mixing wagon, I can, for example, indicate 18 cubic meters. By selecting gross weight, I enter the quantities in gross weight. By selecting dry matter, I indicate the number of kilos of dry matter per ingredient per animal. Then I select my ingredients like corn silage, triticale, straw, soybean meal, minerals. Thereafter, I inform the weight per animal. 9.5 kilos of corn silage, 0.22 means 220 grams of minerals, 1.5 kilos of straw, 1.2 kilos of soybean meal, and 1 kilo of triticale. I can then change the loading sequence in order to respect my daily organization. By validating, I create a new ration for the young bulls. In the daily use, I select another ration of my farm, like dairy cows. After that, I enter the number of animals I have in this day in my herd, and I launch my ration. The application gives directly the number of animals, here 63 animals. The ration is filled in gross weight, and I have a 3.4 cubic meters bucket to feed my herd. So, I have to make 2 rounds to feed my complete herd. The application shows the quantity per round. For example, 1,103 kilos of corn silage, 95 kilograms of hay bale, 9.5 kilos of minerals, and 32 kilos of pulp. So, I can launch the second round. And I finish. Another example, I select my ration for young bulls. I know that in this lot I have 117 young bulls. To distribute this ration, I use a mixing wagon of 18 cubic meters, and I already filled the right quantity of dry matter in kilo per animal for this group, young bulls. The application calculated the quantities needed to be distributed in gross weight, which is the actual weight weighed by my mixing wagon. Therefore, the application has calculated a quantity per round. Here, there is only one single round to be done. The column of the right is the accumulation of the ingredients loaded. For example, if you are using a mixing wagon for which a weighing display is available on the mixing wagon only, and if you can't go reset the tare between each ingredient, you can easily use accumulation indications to find out the weight of silage to be loaded for each ingredient. For example, for corn silage, I fill my mixing wagon with corn silage up to 3,176 kilos. Then, from 3,176 kilos to 3,520 kilos, I add triticale. Another thing is, when I decide to modify my master ingredient, I'm able to modify all the other ingredients proportionately. This allows me to cut this main ingredient roughly and at the same time have a totally balanced ration. By cycling of the back arrow At the bottom left of my screen, I can restore default values. Another benefit of EmilyFeed is the ration percentage module. It allows to handle better the feeding transition. I type in, for example, a new ration percentage, 90% for example, and so all the ingredients of my ration were decreased by 10% in quantity. Thank you for your attention, and I wish you a good experience with EmilyFeed.